Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brain. Well, the day has finally arrived. The new Switch model has been announced a few hours ago, and it's called the Switch OLED. What I want to do in this video is take a look at what we know versus what the rumors were. But before we begin, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That is the best way to let me know you are enjoying the content on this channel. Now let's get started. So here's a list of the major rumors that were out for the Nintendo Switch new model, which now we know is the OLED model. These were predominant around about a week before E3. I'm sure there's some more rumors out there that I've not added here, but these are the ones I was seeing the most. So first we have the 4K when in docked mode, and as we know now, that is not the case. The dock mode only has 1080p at the max resolution. So in the description below here, I've got a link from Nintendo's official website of what all the specs are. If you want to look at those, you can. I'll kind of overlay those here as we go to. Unfortunately, there's no 4K here. The next rumor we kept seeing was the Samsung OLED 7-inch, and while yes, I can confirm that it is 7-inch, I don't know for sure if it's Samsung, but I will count that one as true because most likely it is, because there's quite a bit of information out there from manufacturing that was the case. The next one is the big one everyone was seeing, was that NVIDIA's deep learning super scaling, the DLSS, and that was nowhere mentioned. I'm going to even say this is false just because the Switch is not outputting in 4K, and because it is not outputting in 4K, I don't see how we could say this is true. I'm going to say there is no DLSS in this system. Now, will we get another model announced next year that has that? Who knows, but at this point I would say we're not going to see that in this OLED model. Now, the next one was that this could be released as soon as September or October, and I definitely say that's going to happen. They said it's going to be out in October, so that's, I think, good news. We will say this one is true. The price of either $349 or $399, I'm seeing both of those prices a lot in the rumors. So far, a price has not been announced as of this morning, and we probably will not know any prices until the system goes up for sale. And as of recording this morning, that's not happened yet. I would not be surprised that we would see a higher price on this because it looks like Nintendo on their website still lists the original Switch, and that tells me that they're going to keep selling that model and this model. They're going to see this model with the OLED screen as a premium, so I would expect a premium price. Just as a quick little add-on here, after recording this audio for the video, I did find confirmation that the Switch is going to be $350. So for this OLED model, it will be $50 more. So you do pay a little bit of a premium for that OLED screen. I would think it would be worth it. So if you're buying new, I definitely would pick this one up instead of the base model. Is the same Tegra X1 going to be in this? I'm gonna say that's unclear. It does say on their official specs that it does have the Tegra chip, but it doesn't really give a whole lot more information. Now, if it is truly clocked higher, then I could see some games getting patches that may have had issues with frame rates being able to improve, or maybe they did some dynamic resolution scaling and those being fixed in this newer version, but that's not confirmed. But I could see that happening, so that could be an improvement if the case is it does have the faster Tegra chip. The next one was the potential of 4K over DisplayPort. I'm going to say that's no, because of course we have no 4K listed in the specs. Now it could be using USB 3.0, I don't know, but at this point, because it really wouldn't make a difference because we have confirmed that there is no 4K, I'm going to say this one's not true. The next rumor we kept hearing about is that there'll be a new dock that has an Ethernet port and USB 3.0. I'm going to say this is true, even though I don't know for sure about the USB 3.0. The Ethernet port is confirmed, so to me that's good enough that that's going to count this one as true. I think this is a nice improvement, definitely something that a lot of people who play games online have been looking for. The next thing is that the Joy-Cons would be detachable and would still use the same form factor as the previous one. That is going to be true because it does even say directly in their information here that it can use the same Joy-Cons as the previous Switch. So I think that's good. If you upgrade your model, you won't really have to worry about getting all new Joy-Cons. And then the last one I have on my list here is that it would have a flap instead of a kickstand like a Surface Pro, and that's definitely true. You can see in the videos it shows the whole flap end coming out, and this is a much better design anyways. It's a lot more stable, and I think this is probably how they should have gone to begin with. And one last thing I want to kind of go over is some of the actual specs here that weren't covered in the rumors. One thing that stands out to me though when I'm looking at the information from Nintendo's website is the size is exactly the same on the OLED model as the previous model. This makes me wonder if the previous dock will also work, so that's always a possibility that maybe you could pick up a used one or a refurbished base unit and use your current dock. Of course, there's no confirmation, but if you remember, we did have a firmware update for the dock a while back, so I'm wondering if that is in preparation for this. On the CPU GPU, it just says NVIDIA Custom Tegra processor. Again, there's no confirmation that this is a newer version of the Tegra, so we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens there. There is 64 gigs of storage now instead of 32 gigs, and it does take up to 2 terabyte cards. So a slight improvement on storage there, but nothing to really make you turn your head. They do tout an improved audio on the Switch in handheld mode on this OLED version. So that's an improvement. The other one didn't have the greatest audio, but it worked. One thing I do note here is that it does say that it's 5.1 channel linear PCM output. So if you're anything like me, I have a hard time getting my Switch to do surround sound on certain audio systems because of it only supporting PCM audio and not any of the Dolby audio. The battery looks to be the same 4310 milliamp hour battery. The previous version of the Switch and this new Switch OLED model both say 4.5 to 9 hours of operating time. So I'm thinking the battery is not changing, because it is the same milliamp hour battery, and it sounds to me like maybe the power consumption is pretty much going to be the same on this model as the previous one. So my final thoughts on this system is this is going to be a great system for people who play mostly handheld, but I typically play docked, and I know I'm probably in the minority of people on that. So for me, I'm not going to pick up this system unless I get some confirmation that it does have some type of improved specs, so that maybe I might get better frame rate on some games. But for now, I'm just going to hold off. Needless to say, I'm disappointed that there is no 4K option, there's no DLSS, all these things that we were hearing in the rumor mill just did not come to fruition. But what are your thoughts? Let me know, drop a comment below. Let me know if this is something you're going to pick up or if you're just going to be holding on to what you currently have. I want to thank you for watching and be good.